Hi everybody. This is my third update on my tank. So some little I haven't been on here in several days, but anyway, Saturday I went ahead and moved my fish and all my livestock over. Um, I didn't really have a cycle on my tank because I used a good 3/4 of my live rock from my existing tank. So I didn't really have a cycle at all. I did test it several times. Nitrite, ammonia is both zero. Nitrates are holding steady, about 2 to 3 parts per million. So anyway, I didn't really have a cycle. So I went ahead on Saturday and moved my all my livestock over, my coral, my anemones, clam, everything, and the rest of my live rock. The only live rock that was left was that little section here with my bubble tips. And I just left them attached and moved them attached to the rock that they were attached to, you know. So I didn't want to, risk hurting their foot or anything. But everybody's settled in really good. The first couple days, my fish were like, "What is this? This is a lot bigger than what we're used to." But they're all doing really good. And you could tell, you can see like right now the brown diatoms, coming from the tank, once it, all the bacteria and stuff, you can see that on the sand right there, on the rock. Obviously not on my existing live rock, like that right there, that was one of my existing live rocks, and that one back there, next to the toadstool, and that one that my torch corals are on, all that, they were existing. So everything is going really good on the tank so far, so good. I'm waiting on my lid, so for right now, I know it's kind of silly, but my lid, I ordered it from Custom Acrylics, and it takes a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, so I'm still waiting on that. So for right now, I'm putting the my window screen that happens to fit just fine on my tank. So I'm just, when I'm not in the room or if I'm gone or whatever, I put that on top, or when I'm sleeping or whatever, because I don't want to, risk losing one of my fish. But so far I'm liking the tank. I like pretty much everything about it. I will do a sump, video as soon as I get some good lights. I'm gonna get some lights. I think tomorrow is when they come in. So that way you'll be able to see better. The only thing I don't like, and I'm trying to do a workaround on this, I had an auto top off on my 80-gallon tank. It's a 10-gallon container for that. And this one has a built-in auto top off reservoir. And I'm going to see, I don't know if you guys will be able to see it really good or not. But you see it in there, that's the built-in auto top off reservoir. And that's only about 7.5 gallons. And it's automatic. It's like gravity fed, and unfortunately, you end up having to fill it every 2 days or so. So I'm trying to figure out. I may order a custom acrylic auto top off reservoir that sits outside the tank, maybe 15, 20 gallons. But with the large surface area, you are going to get more evaporation. I already knew that, but 7.5 gallons is definitely not big enough. The other thing I added. If you look at my previous video, Red Sea, for whatever reason, on the return nozzle is only one round nozzle that comes out at the top. And as you can see right here, that's obviously not what came with it. So I went ahead and ordered the pieces for this, and it came already assembled. And you just take the round return nozzle off and just attach this one, just basically put this one and shove it into place with a couple turns. And it works a heck of a lot better than just one, stream, because then I can crank my pump up, higher and stuff without blowing sand everywhere and all this. So that was one thing I added. And so anyway, I'm waiting for the lid, so I'm still waiting on that. That'll be a while. Other than that, everything else I really like the Red Sea tank a whole lot. So I'm definitely so far so good. There's my old tank. It's all broken down right there. I went ahead and took the water out of the fish. My fish store is coming tomorrow to take the sand out, and they're going to move the tank to their store and sell it on consignment. So there's my old tank. There it is, folks. And that'll be gone tomorrow at some point. So, yeah, but this tank I like, and like I said, I'm using. I already had the two Ecotech XR15s, so I just bought a third one, and that's what I'm running. And so far, it seems to be a nice spread of light in my tank. So far so good. I opted to go with a smaller amount of live rock than the usual 1 to 2 pounds per gallon. So I probably have maybe 150 pounds of live rock in this tank instead of 200 pounds, since it's a 200 gallon aquarium. And so far so good. I wanted more swimming room for the fish, and I didn't want to stack. I don't like stacking rock real high in the aquarium, and unfortunately in my 80 gallon, being a shallow reef aquarium, it was only 16 inches deep. So unfortunately in that tank I crammed everything in there. It's kind of funny when I look at this tank. It appears like hadn't added anything new to this aquarium. No new coral or anything to this aquarium. And this all came out of my 80. And which is kind of crazy to me that I crammed this much stuff into my 80 gallons. So, and I am glad I didn't go with a lot of extra rock. I may, over time you can always add some extra pieces. If I do, I'm definitely going to go with live rock, because I did have my fish store cook several large pieces of rock, which means he let them dry out and then he recycled them. He put them back in salt water and added bacteria and let them sit for several weeks, because I'm real funny about hitchhikers. But unfortunately, he threw in a extra piece to make the 50 pounds of live rock. And when I was going through putting the rock in the tank with the fish store, I looked down and there was an Apstasia anemone on the one piece that he didn't cook with the rest of the rock. So obviously that didn't go in my tank. So if I add any pieces of live rock, it's going to be life rock, which is not actually live rock. It's made by Carib Sea or Carib Sea. That's the kind of sand I put in. And I did the sand, as far as the sand went, I did 100 pounds, just to let you guys know, I did 100 pounds of the Carib Sea Fiji Pink sand, and it's small enough, it's not too small of a grain size, but small enough that all my sand-bearing wrasses won't get injured. And I don't like deep sand beds, but as you can see on that side, it's a little deeper than it is in the front. So it's about 100 pounds of sand, live sand, that I put in here. So anyway, so that's basically it for this update, and I will do more, and again, I will definitely do a sump update ASAP as soon as I get some lighting in there for you guys. Thanks everybody for watching, and thanks for subscribing and supporting me. Happy reefing.